In association with Get a Tax Rebate, 1895 Sports, Mesa Vienna Aesthetics, CDX Security.
Okay, welcome to the Oddball Woody Show, where we've got another fantastic episode today. We've got probably, for me, I don't think we'll get a more passionate guy on who loves rugby league as much as this guy, and the entertainment that he's giving the kids during his TV appearances on Rugby AM. He's even a social media sensation now with everything that he's doing through lockdown. Just giving a big, massive, positive attitude throughout, situation that we're in now with COVID and lockdown, and everyone's been feeling a little bit down and in a low mood. But this guy's been encouraging the kids to stay positive, and it's very, very infectious, the attitude that he's got. And, he's an ex-professional rugby league player who's gone on now to working with kids away from the game since retirement. He's featuring on Rugby AM, and he's doing so much for the community, but also the game. And that is Wagga, Wayne Godwin. How are you doing, Wagga?
Yes, there she is! There she is, buddy! League wins all day, every day, Matt Jess. It's an absolute honour to be on this podcast with you, mate. Nothing but love and respect for you, Woody. So, yeah, like you, mate, we've got that same common goal. We both love rugby league. Yeah,
that's it, mate. I mean, we've just been saying before we come on, we had a brief chat there, and, a lot of people see you on your Twitter and your Instagram, and they see you as a person, and working with you at Rugby AM myself, and then obviously playing against you as well. I know you away from that as well, and I know you're a very eccentric guy, and you're a very positive person, and your life and soul of the party. But you do have another side of you that probably a lot of people don't see. And I've had quite some deep conversations with you. I remember when we was over at Magic Weekend, I think it was 2018, over at Newcastle, and we were speaking about missing the game and how we've been feeling and coping with it and stuff. So that's the side what I'd like the people to see, really, because you were a positive guy, mate, and you're doing a great things for the game. What have you been up to recently, mate? What have you been doing?
Well, it's good, Woody. I've obviously lockdown one. I got involved with Matt Jess, hence the T-shirt. There she is, and when you go back to it, I just want to inspire kids, not just to play rugby, but to play all sports. So obviously, my big job, I'm a business manager for Elite Kids Coaching with Ryan Hudson, the director, another ex-professional rugby player. So our passion, we love being involved in the community. I love being involved with Rugby AM, the grassroots clubs. I love grassroots rugby. I want to grow that even more, Woody. But yeah, I've just been doing that. So the first lockdown, all about the bins. All about the bins. Kicking them over the house, throwing them over gardens. But lockdown 0.2, I've been, to be honest, Woody, I've been going to my... it's strange. I feel like a little kid again. I've been going to field. I've been going to local rugby field. And for anyone...
I know, I've seen your videos.
But there she is. I won't let it go. So for anyone that have seen my social media, I've just been going up to local field, and do you know what? That hour and a half, that mental space, just having kicking ball about and trying to do trick shots and takes 50 takes, some of it, just having a kick about again. It's just that's why you play a game, just have it ball in hand. And I do feel a little bit daft at times when I'm dancing around and rolling around, and there's dog walkers walking past thinking, what's he doing? I'm screaming at me, camera going, there she is, and all this. But my passion, I just want to be happy, but I want to make other people happy, Woody. Because, people think I am over the top and eccentric, but I'll never change. And my mum and dad told me that. You are who you are, and you should never change. And I believe in that. But when you go to that, Woody, like we had chat in Newcastle, I remember, I believe it or not, listeners and viewers, I can get down. I can get down like we all can. It's okay not to be okay. But I just never let people see that side of me. I don't know why. My wife will tell you the truth. I never put my worries on anyone else. I like to bring the energy in the day, and then at night I'm a different guy. I just like chilling with my family, my kids are Charlie and Zach and my wife. And yeah, when I'm down, I'm down. So my eyes are high. My eyes are high because I'm giddy. I've got loads of energy, but my lows are low. So I've had a lot of lows throughout my career, hence all the injuries, buddy, as you know, playing. So you've had the highs of playing well and then the injuries.
I mean, first of all, you are full on with it. You've got this character now and this persona that, in rugby league. But do you know what, mate? When you look at your Twitter feed and your Instagram feed and you see the feedback that you're getting and the positive impact that you're having on the kids, and it's drawing kids towards the game. And, I used to do things for Rugby AM, and I got sick of people saying, "Where's Wagga? Where's Wagga?" You know what I mean? I was like, but what I'm saying is that, mate, the impact that you've had on the kids in rugby league, like my son's now 13, and he just absolutely bawls his eyes out when you come on TV. He loves it. He's like, "Oh, is Wagga on? I love Wagga. He's funny." And the stuff, I mean, kids love YouTube now.
Yeah,
and like YouTube is just such like a massive platform for people and for the young kids. And my lad can spend hours just watching you on YouTube. So even though you're full on, I think the game is crying out for a character like you, because we're sort of, rugby league tries to be too serious sometimes when really our audience, we're just normal people, working class people who we tend to just want to have a laugh. Yeah, we've got to be serious sometimes, but I don't believe we need to be serious 100% of the time.
No, would it? I go back to that. We had a quick chat before we started the podcast, and I'm not knocking Sky one bit and the media, but I just, that's what I love about Rugby M and the start in Simo's Garage, because it showcases the characters of rugby league. We are working class. We have got as backgrounds, and you should never change. So if you want to say something and show that character and that personality, because I've met, and you've met, Woody, throughout your career, some outstanding rugby league characters, some outstanding players, but off the screen. I mean, we're there. Don't get me wrong. We're there as role models. Rugby players are there for role models. But I heard John Wilkin a while back said in the media, we make mistakes. We're not robots. Everyone makes mistakes, and everyone goes out and has a beer, and we are persona about all this professionalism. Yeah, it is, but we're all characters as well. We all like a drink. We all like to have a party now and again. Does that don't make you an unprofessional? But yeah, go back to the kids bit. That's great. Woody, I love trying to inspire kids. I try and bring the character around so kids want to get involved in the games. That's why I love doing the Rugby M camps and elite kids coaching, rugby camps. I love getting to grassroots clubs, trying to get the kids down to the rugby. And I just want to relate to the kids and try and attract that younger audience as such at times. And I spoke to you previously, Woody. The game for me is an event. It's an event, right? So you come to that game. Rugby's part of that. And the rugby players these days, they're absolute athletes and machines. I've nothing but respect for them all. And I love watching the game. But the whole game is an event itself. So yeah, I love it. I love being involved. I've got loads of passion for the game, and if I can add value to what's happening in the game and add some characters, I'm not saying get Wagga Taurus on Sky and all that. I'm not saying that, because personally I think it's great now that Leon Price, John Wilkin, they had Longy on the other night. They're getting ex-professional rugby players, legends of the game, which I'm not, coming on TV like they had Jason Robinson. They're getting ex-players on to talk about the game. And for me, Wood, I don't know what you think. I think that's great for the game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I mean, we do need characters in the game, and I think we probably do need to make things a little bit more light-hearted throughout the media. And some of the things that go on. And, he spoke about Rugby AM and, Simo will, admit and Jones, and they don't get it right all the time, sometimes.
That fine line in the Woody, there's that fine line in media. Like, sometimes we've got it wrong, we go too far. Obviously, you've got to have that professional image as well, with the swearing, different stuff, but you've got to showcase rugby players. They've all got characters in them, haven't they? They've all got stories to tell. They're only human, aren't they, Woody? So when you're interviewing a player, you want them to have that banter, that charisma, that just say how it is sometimes. Whereas sometimes I feel like it's a bit, I'm not speaking negative because I don't like doing that, but I still feel like it's a bit scripted at times in the media. And when you go back to social media, I'm all I put on social media is positive stuff. That's all I want to hear. Positivity. I've got negative stuff in there, but I don't like thinking about it. I'm in Waggataurus's world, and it's a better world. It's a better world in there, Woody. So yeah, I just keep in my own bubble. Just try and put positive stuff out there. But it's one of them, Woody, and I'd love, and that's why Simo started the show to showcase the characters in rugby league.
I think for me, Wagga, I think like my perception as well has changed a lot since I stopped playing, and I've sort of moved away from rugby as well. And I suppose I'm just a fan now. I take my lad to rugby games. I do hospitality at the Warrington matches, but even though I'm doing that, I still feel like I'm just a fan because I do a bit of hospitality, and then I watch the game as a supporter. And I'm sat there with my lad, and this is where, like, I think you're doing a great thing, because within sport, you need to attract young kids. Now, listen, Wagga, no disrespect, but my missus is not going to come and watch you, do your Waggataurus thing.
Yeah.
But my 3 kids are.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be appealing to the younger generation, because do you know what? It's amazing how much different generations are within space of 10 years of each other. Like I'm 39 now, and the 29-year-olds and the 25-year-olds, I feel like are a completely different generation. I know they sort of interact and find things out about the game is different from what I do. Do you know what I mean? They've got all these fancy apps on the mobile phones and stuff, and I've just not got a clue. The kids my lad tells me about news about Warrington and everything else. I'm like, how do you find that out? I either find it out if I'm just luckily scrolling through Twitter, and that's about it. But we need to be targeting the young kids of the game and bringing them on. And at the minute, my personal opinion is we don't really do that well. Apart from we might have a tag rugby game before they match. If that's as good as we can do to drag kids there, mate, we're struggling.
I believe at times it's gone backwards, the game. As in, I remember when I were like you, Woody. I've gone from a fan, so my uncle Kevin, my dad, all my family used to take me down to Cass games. I'm a Cass fan, born in Ponty, but adopted Cass lad as such. So I went from a fan, and then I went to a player, and to play for my hometown club and play for the like with Adrian Valls, Danny Orr, Dean Sampson, some of these guys who I used to watch and get autographs off. And to make your debut alongside them, surreal. So you go down the playing route and it's surreal, and you play 17, 18, 19 years full time. And then when you retire, you just become a fan again. So it's like role reversal. You start as a fan, you become in that bubble, that professional bubble, and then you come out again, and then you're just a player, you're a fan. But at least Woody, I don't know what you're like, but I still love watching it. Whereas I know a lot of players that retire struggle with watching it. They don't get that buzz. Whereas I kind of get that buzz from still watching it. I think, God, I still at times think, God, come on, I can do this. Do you know what I mean? Like I joined in with Ponty Titans today, doing Bronco test, saying, come on, you 16, 17-year-olds, you can't beat me. So you still got I've still got that passion and energy to play. The head saying, "Come on," but the body won't do it. So yeah, I've gone off on one there, Woody. But yeah, I think rugby league, it needs to attract every audience, doesn't it, Woody? So if Wagga Talks can do a job attracting these young kids, give me a gig, because I'll do it. Because I love going to grassroots, like I keep saying, but I meet a lot of kids because I'm coaching in primary schools, high schools, colleges. I'm involved in the community. So to get any kids involved in the game, but not even if they want to play at a high standard, but to watch it, going down to a game and having a look and getting players' autographs and getting down there early, so there might be a live band on, there might be entertainment, so it's in the adults as well. I mean, Bradford years ago, they were the main club at it, and the Leeds they had big parties on before the game. I mean, I've been to Twickenham. Would you been to Twickenham?
I've never watched the Union. No,
I've been to Twickenham. I've been to Twickenham a few times. The event, the venue, wow, unreal. You get there early. There's bands on. There's loads of different beer tents, Guinness tents, loads of freebies, get merchandise, and then the game for me. I'm not a big rugby union fan, but the game for me, we're all right, but it were more for me what attracted me with the event, because at the end of the game, whereas everyone leaves at league, don't they? Everyone leaves at internationals. Whereas there's a live band on, understanding Twickenham, and no one just disperses. Everyone's still there partying. I thought, how good's this? I thought, I want to come back because the atmosphere, the vibes, but for me, the main event, the game, nowhere near rugby league, nowhere near. This is what gets me. Like, our game is that special and that good, but it's just not getting that reach. It's just not getting that audience it deserves. So for me, anyone promoting rugby league, media, podcasts like yourself, Woody, anyone promoting our game, wow, well done. I'll help and support best I can, because that's what it needs. It needs anyone pushing it.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. You know, you've hit nail on head there. You know, anyone who can promote the game. I mean, you've got to watch what you're saying, really, like in terms of, or I have to watch what I'm saying in terms of that. I don't want to come across as though I'm a bitter ex-rugby player by saying, but currently, you know, but currently what we're doing as a sport, talking about rugby league, is it's not really working. Do you know what I mean? To attract audiences. And it's a tough gig because, you know, like you said, we've got one of the best products on the field. But then, you know, you can go to some grounds and there's like 4,000 people in a stand and you're like, hang on a minute, I've just watched a rugby union game with like 20,000 people in a stadium, and, you know, I don't get it. And I don't know, maybe we're just a bit deluded because we do love rugby league, you know what I mean? But
you never know, would it? I think what you've just said then is like what I think. Whether we've got this amazing product, rugby league, whether we're biased because we play a game at a decent level and we still love the game, but we've got this product and I watch it and people message me on social media, different stuff. What a game! What about that? What about this? But it's like we just need to keep reaching out, and I just don't understand why we don't get the big sponsors, the big attraction. I don't get why we don't get the numbers what the players deserve, because even through lockdown and no crowds, which I wanted to chat about anyway, because you watch it, I get the noise on. I've not been to a game as a media yet, but to them guys, that intensity in that the Wigan St Helens game in the derby. They were knocking hell out of each other. They were boom, intensity-wise. And you know what? There were no crowd.
Yeah,
no crowd. So them guys I've seen some average games since no crowds, but then I've seen some great games. So I just want to thank every single player and club that have represented rugby league during this lockdown and these difficult times with players, pay cuts, different stuff, because they've kept the game alive. They're the face of rugby league. They're going out there and doing the job, entertaining fans, people on TV. They're putting the bodies on the line. They're putting the families, whether they've had to self-isolate, different stuff. And for me, yeah, thank you to every single one of them players, because we know how tough it is out there, Woody. And to go out there and put on some of the games they have, they've just, like everyone says, they've just had to play them, haven't they? Any way to play, get it on. Let's get these games on.
Yeah, you can never knock, the toughness and the resilience of any rugby league player. I think, to play the sport, the players are just as tough now as they was, years ago. But it's not their issue really that the game's been diluted a little bit with, shoulder charge being taken out. I think, I personally, I can say it, I don't think referees are up to much cop at the minute. I think that there's a cop out of, well, I'll let that go and then someone will just pick it up at watching it on a Monday morning. Every try goes to the screen, and it's just been diluted a little bit for me. And, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Growing up as a kid, I loved it watching rugby league. Yeah. I loved watching Barry McDermott.
Yeah.
Just fucking take someone's head clean off. You know what I mean? And, that is why I went watching rugby league. But no, there's just absolutely none of it. And I get it, play welfare is massive because the game is tough. Yeah. But there's elements of our game that's been taken out what I don't feel like should have been.
Mate, do you know what, Woody? And he'll laugh if he listens to this. Adam Milner shoulder charged me, knocked my teeth out. Do you know what? I shook his hand after the game. What a shot. Did it? Yeah. I loved it. I came off second best like I did a lot of the times. But do you know what? You shake hands, and when you go back to audiences, Woody, when you stop the shoulder charge, change different rules in rugby league, you're going to lose some of them people. Like you've just said there, Woody, reason you watched it for Baz Mack or a big event, a big smash up, and we're losing that. We're losing that biff, like old school biff, aren't we? I mean, I don't want to speak like an old bitter ex-professional rugby player either, but I'm not saying the game's still tough, but there's not a lot. There's a lot of stuff what I reckon. Yeah, just get on with it. Let's go. Let's keep rolling. It don't need a penalty. It don't need it. Let's get them. Let's get them bashing each other. I get head injuries, different stuff. I get player welfare because we've done it, Woody. So we can have a voice really, because the amount of times. If I had to now looking back, if I had to have had tests like they do now, I'd have never played. I would always undertaken flat out, and then I used to bounce up and whoa, what's happened? You'd smash someone, I'd lift someone up, bang them. But I forgot to miss my point there, Woody. I'm going off on one here. I always do when I'm chatting rugby. But I remember playing against you at Wilderspool, right? And it were academy days, and that were on Sky. Can you remember? Paul Cullen, and that was showcasing the young talent at Wilderspool, and it were absolutely unreal. And some of the players I remember playing for Cass on a Thursday night down Lane, there were a couple of thousand watching because they were the next generation. If you played well on a Thursday night with 21s, a Lions team, you play on Sunday for first team. I remember doing it. I played awesome on that Thursday night. Stuart Raper watched the game. The first team watched it, so that gave you an extra buzz because you were in the light. You stepped up from academy level. You're in the limelight. If you played well, there were a spot on bench some weeks, and you know he's healthy. But I feel it's gone backwards that way because academy, that needs to get back because we're losing a lot of talent. We're losing a lot of kids. We're all right starting journeys in grassroots. For me, grassroots, that's where it all starts. Every kid starts grassroots. We need to keep promoting grassroots, pump money into grassroots, right? And it'll come up. But we're losing a lot of kids. And when I go back to the academy, I felt like I had the right pathway. Academy, then 21s. Then when you were ready, you got that. If you were good enough, you played that first team spot. We used to play curtain raisers. So played curtain raisers at like Central Park before like massive game back in day. And some of these crowds, I'll never forget them. And that's me. I'll never forget them playing for academy in front of crowds because all home crowd were coming in before the game. And does that don't happen as much? I don't feel. Don't get me wrong. There's tag games and they get kids involved, and the clubs that do it well, the community element, because it's a dream come true for some of them kids to step on that field and play on some of these stadiums. The clubs to support. We need more of it.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? I think, you're describing what it was like there for us as kids, playing a curtain raiser before first team. Some of our games being on Sky, probably like 5 or 6 games a year were on Sky of ours. And, for me, it's just a classic example of how the game's gone backwards.
Yeah.
And it's like other sports are sort of going like this and going up. And we're just like either staying stagnant or losing it. And it is frustrating because you want the lads to do well and you want the lads who are playing now to earn the money. And, I'd love to see players be able to retire with a little bit more financial freedom and stuff and, get what they deserve. But at the minute, it's not looking likely. But, I mean, I'll ask you the question, like, what got you into rugby league, Wagga? Because we've not even touched on your career,
It wasn't the money, would it? It wasn't the money. I'd have played a totally different sport. Just the love of the game. What got me involved in rugby? My dad. My dad is my hero. He's my passion. I've got a real close family. I've got an older brother. Good childhood, so I'm really lucky. He used to work down pit. My dad, my mum used to work 2 jobs, but do you know what? They'd take me down to training all the time, and parents. I'd take me out off to parents as well, who were taking the kids down to grassroots clubs because without the parents, these kids aren't going to get involved in the game. So my dad inspired me whenever the biggest. He played junior, my dad. And I started off playing union, but at that age at Selby, it was Selby Rugby Union. My dad played for Selby, and not only, but it wasn't really any kind of, it was just rugby really, because I was only 7, 8, 9. And then he left and went to Nottingham Rockware at the time. Zach Hardacres had a stint at Nottingham. It's sad really because there's no grassroots club there at Nottingham Rockware. So my amateur club ain't about anymore, which is disappointing because I'd love to go back and help promote it and because that's where my journey started. So just all my young coaches, thanks to all my young coaches. Massive rap to, you always remember, Woody, I'll ask you the question as well. You always remember your first coach who gave you that shot, who saw something special in you where no one else saw it. And for me, that was Graham Steadman, Steady. I don't know if you remember Steady.
Yeah, Steady. Yeah. He coached me actually in Great Britain squad in 2003. Yeah,
Steady, nudger.
Yeah,
but what I loved about Steady, he saw something in me. Because Stuart Raper says I wasn't big enough, but where Steady kind of, I get every coach sees different in certain players, don't you? That's why you move from club to club, and that's fine because every coach has got their own philosophies, culture, and whether you suit that squad and playing position. But Steady saw something in me, and I'll never forget him sticking up for me and just giving me a shot. Said this kid can play, he can tackle, he ain't got all talent in the world because I wasn't blessed with talent, would he? But what I would do, I'd work hard. I'd just try and work harder than anyone else because I played with, like you in amateur, I played with better players. Don't get me wrong, I played with loads of better players over the career. But one thing I had on them, I had that attitude, that resilience, and that determination, that buzz, and that energy. I'll keep going, keep getting knocked down, and you know what, Wagga Taurus will just keep getting back up because that's how I've been brought up, and that's Don't get me wrong, it's tough, and I've cried. I remember breaking my arm against Warrington actually. Mike Cooper elbow. I was playing for Salford. I'd just come back from injury. I was playing well. Scar on my arm, broke my arm. And I went straight to change room. Just cried just because I was sick of being injured. I think it was third injury on bounce. And I cried that day. I just cried just because I'd worked so hard to come back, get fit, playing really, really well, and wanted to like you know, as an ex-player, you just want to play consistently well each week. And my mum and dad came in, and I didn't even feel that. Like, I'm not saying I'm tough, but I didn't even feel the pain in my arm. It was there. It was there.
Yeah.
I was just glad that. Oh, come on, give me a break. I've broke my arm. I wasn't bothered about my arm. I wasn't bothered about my body. I just wanted to get back on that field, and I just remember just crying at like Halliwell, and just thinking, what do I need to do to have a break? So emotionally wise, it kills your mental health, and you know yourself, Woody, when you, I mean, I broke my leg third or fourth game in when you've just done one of the hardest pre-seasons ever, and I broke my leg. Fecca Palacino, a good mate of mine now, it felt that I was playing for Bradford against Wigan. It fell on my leg. I snapped my leg. Third or fourth game into the season. So I'd done all that pre-season, worked hard to try and like impress, and then I broke my leg. So on a big pot, but not going on about all injuries. 6 sets of teeth, 16 operations. Not that I'm counting, would it? But you know what? I'd do it. I've no regrets, mate. I've no regrets, and yeah, I've cried. I've had hugs with guys. I've cried with the team because you've got that common goal. You just want to win, don't you? And that's one of my biggest regrets, Woody. Like you've felt that winner's feeling, them trophies, and I never felt that. And that's when you go back to it. Yeah, I've no regrets, but I have. I wish I'd have had some silverware as such. I always talk about it though, but Martin and Fine will tell you this. At least I won Joining Jack 10's Veterans Tournament with Joining Jack, with Patty Richards, Luke Dawn, Jason Robinson, Ewan Dowes, all the guys. So I have won something. So Joining Jack, JJ Salute, I've won a Veterans competition, would it? But that's about it, I'm afraid.
Do you know what? It's a couple of things there, but I mean, first of all, I think like it is nice, you know. I can look back on my career, a couple of Challenge Cup winners' trophies and a couple of grand finals. It's nice, but in long run, we've been so privileged, haven't we? You know, to do what we do. I mean, I speak to lads who I played in academy with, and like they're so devastated that they never got a chance, you know, to play first team. And I always put myself in that position now because I'm away from it, and I think, shit, what would I have done if I wouldn't have made the first team? Because that's all I wanted to do. I didn't have a backup plan. I was just like, I'm going to play first team and that's it. You know, I give my engineering apprenticeship up 12 months into it because I just said to my mum, look, I'm going to be a professional rugby player. But looking back, that's a massive risk, isn't it?
That's bad. Like this day and age now, I'm a dad. I wouldn't be saying that to our Charlie Zach. My mum and dad were saying to me, like, Wagga, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to sign on at Cass. I says, how can you guarantee that? I says, you watch me, I'm going to do it. And like, I remember being at high school, would you go back to that? Only reason I went to Pontynew College, right, is because I didn't want to get an apprenticeship because all my spare time, I just wanted to get to the field. So I didn't want to get a job because I wanted to sign on at Cass as soon as what I could. So I signed on the old scholarship, and then I kind of started training with first team, 17, 18-year-old. When you sign on, I never thought, oh, you've made it. Now, I didn't have that mentality. I thought, when I signed on, I thought, right, I've got to work even harder now. I've got to work even harder. Just because you see kids now, I'm not being negative again, but you see kids now, you get a trackie, they think they've made it. No, you haven't made it, mate. You might have a trackie, you might walk around town with this trackie and hats and gear. I've seen you, I've seen it all the time, but do you know what? Them kids that think, yeah, it's the start of my journey now, I've got to work even harder because there's better players around me. It's crazy, Woody.
It's good though to have. I think like it's good to have that belief though, isn't it? That you know you're saying there. I didn't want to get an apprenticeship because I was going to play for Cass, but it's a good lesson really because you hear a lot of people who follow the passion and they sort of just the soul's honed in on what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I get it. We're not at that age, 16, 17, with no commitment, so we don't have a family to support or anything. So we can sort of be a little bit selfish like that. But it's a great lesson to say, if you want something, and you give it your full shot and your full attention, and you give it 100%, then you've a good chance of doing it.
I would say this to kids. I just want to inspire kids and anyone starting their journey, whether it's rugby, whether it's all. That dream, do you know what, can become reality? Because if you work hard and you just keep going, and you're going to have setbacks, you're going to cry, you're going to have disappointments, you're going to have injuries, you're going to get dropped. I mean, I've had 5 Super League clubs, money. I've been passed around, but I didn't lose that. I kept my chin up and kept going. I thought there'll be some club where I'll fit in. It's not that I didn't fit in. It was just like not going back to my career, but. What I've loved about my journey and why I'm so happy I played the game, and that's why I want to get kids involved. Is this Woody, the team and the people you meet? It's not even always the people that you play against, Woody, play with. It's like against like yourself. You've got that when you see them now. It's like you've always been there. It's like people I keep in touch with. You might not speak to them for ages, and you think of an old story or that time when you played against them, and rugby league. It's given me that much, and I've just been honoured to have played as long as what I did and met the people I did. And do you know what? Rugby give me the personality, give me the character. You don't realise. So anyone listening, you don't realise all the attributes. What helps you when you come out of rugby life? Because I was nervous, and I was nervous about work and coming out. But all the attributes, when you final down, we've got a lot to offer businesses, and you. It's a journey. Life's a journey, and I understand that now. But I'm not scared to admit that when I came out of rugby, I had some real tough times, mate. But you just got to find yourself again, and that's where I suppose I found myself a little bit when I got involved with Rugby M and the media side, because there were no rugby league anymore for me that I couldn't play anymore. But I always wanted to keep involved in rugby somehow, if you get me, Woody.
At Get a Tax Rebate, we make it easy for you or your business to claim back thousands of pounds in tax. Most people, like Jane and Philip, don't realise that they are owed money from HMRC, so they never claim. All you need to do is fill out a simple form on our website and we'll do the rest. It's that simple. We've also helped business owners claim back millions of pounds in research and development R&D tax credits. So if you're working in a business or own one, contact us today to see if we can help you claim back tax and improve your cash flow. Get a Tax Rebate, your tax refund concierge.
(1895) Sports and State of Mind, the ultimate lineup.
Macy Vienna Aesthetics, based in Wigan. For all your wrinkle treatments, dermal fillers, lip enhancement, energy boost injections, immune boost injections. Please visit us on Facebook or Instagram at Macy Vienna Aesthetics.
CDX Security, proudly supporting Rugby League.
Yeah, no, mate, I completely get you, because you said something earlier about, when you broke your arm and you sat in the changing room and you cried, and it's true, like you say, you laughed and said, how many operations? Was it 16?
Yeah, 16. Like you think like 6 new teeth, but like you wouldn't, new nose, broken arm twice, my knees. But it's mad saying it, but like, I'm not saying like I'm superhuman or like tough, because every rugby player feels it. But back then, it was just the norm. Operation at the end of every season was just the norm, and your mum and dad would be worried, but I wasn't worried. I was just thinking, what are you worried about? Everyone, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But now I've got kids of my own, and like Charlie falls off, I'm like, oh, you're all right. Like, but back then, I must have given my parents some worry, because just putting your body on the line week in, week out, and the highs and the lows, and I've experienced some real big highs, and I've experienced some real big lows, and I think that helps me deal with stuff outside of rugby nowadays, really, to be fair, Woody.
Yeah, I mean, I can like resonate with what you're saying there in terms of, you know, I only had 15 operations, so you've trumped me by one. But I always say, and lads are sick of hearing it, Jim, because when they're asking me why am I taking it easy, I say I've had 15 operations, you know. But going back to your point, the physical injuries, when you say you've had 15 operations, people think like you've been in pain, and you can handle the physical pain. It's completely the emotional side of it in rugby, what I found so difficult. You know, setbacks. So one of my biggest setbacks was, I had a couple actually, when you talk about coming back from injury. Come back from a dislocated shoulder, first game back, dislocated it again. That was in 2008 against Catalan. Then I ruptured my bicep. First game back, ruptured it again. And then I was like 3 weeks before Challenge Cup final, I broke my leg. And all that, I'm not bothered about the pain.
No, you can handle pain, Woody, with that just disappointment. You just want to get a run of games, don't you? You just want to get a run of games, and it always happens. They always come in twos and threes, don't they? I remember like breaking arms, then you tear something, then something else happened, and it was so frustrating. But the pain and the injuries and the operations, they were easy part. It was been in rehab. You've been in rehab and been in the injury crew, so you want around the team. You didn't feel part of the team. So if I went out there on the field, I was always a team player, so if I didn't get selected for whatever reason, I'd put my hand up. Yeah, I'll run what? I want to be around the squad. I'll have a positive influence around everyone. If I got dropped, you're always disappointed, but I wasn't one of them. I just wanted to react positively because it was better for the team. I wanted to still be around the team. But when you were in the injured crew, it was so hard to keep involved. You know, when you see everyone playing well, they're getting good wins, and even when they're feeling the losses, for me, it was more the emotional side what killed me. Because I did have a lot of injuries, but a lot of rugby players have injuries because it's a tough sport, isn't it? You're gonna
Yeah, it is, and you know, like you say, it's part and parcel of the game. So if you're getting involved in the game, I think you're deluded if you don't think you're going to get these physical injuries. But I suppose that's why I'm quite passionate, and I'm part of the Head of the Game project now at the minute, because I think it's like emotionally. What I found in rugby is that, as I've just said, physically it didn't bother me. Even to the point where I ruptured my testicle in that final, and people say, "Oh, you must have been in agony." I wasn't in agony. No. I was emotionally broken because we lost that match. Yeah. You know, and that was the biggest thing to deal with. So I'm massive on the fact that physical pain's quite an easy thing to get over, but emotionally and mentally, and I don't know what it is with rugby league players, because we know a lot of, obviously we're retired now, and a lot of the lads we played against have retired, and there's a lot of lads struggle once they come away from the game. What sort of, because you said that, you know, you're high, and we do see you high, but what sort of stuff have you been through yourself?
Like I said, Woody, my eyes are high and my lows are low. So my eyes were when I'm playing, and when I retired, like you would, I didn't plan for anything, and I was never on good, decent money. I couldn't retire off anything. I'd not planned for it. I did a few courses like the PT and different stuff, and I struggled because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, but obviously there's a lot more help with RL Cares and the education side, and I'm not blaming anyone. It were my fault. I probably went for too many coffees. I went for a coffee and a beer rather than to college. And I just fell into that trap. 24, 25, 26. Yeah, it's all right. I've got another 2-3 years before I need to start a course. 30. Yeah, I'll do it next year. And I will guilty. I wasn't lazy. I was in that rugby league bubble. So anyone wanted to go for a coffee after training. I'm there. Let's go tell some tales. Let's have a flat white. And I was one of them where really I should have been educating myself outside a bit and looking at courses and different stuff, because my transition would have been a lot easier, would it? A lot easier. It wouldn't have been half as stressful, because for me, my stress was the financial stress. Because my wife Kim was pregnant with Charlie, so I was having my first baby. I dropped down a division at Dewsbury, so I was playing semi-pro. I was trying to do a teaching course alongside to try and upskill myself quick. I was just panicking, but I wasn't bringing the money in like I used to. So I'm thinking, how can I do that? And getting different jobs. I remember my first job. I owe it a lot to Rod Lilly. It was RL Distribution. So my first job, I don't know if many people know anyway, but my first job, I went to Dewsbury. I went because I still wanted to play, but I fell out of love with rugby, like injuries, and I take my hat off to everyone who plays part time and amateur and Championship and League One, because they're giving their time up. They're going to work. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy that bit. I went to work and then you go to. It was just bad timing for me. I just had Charlie. I just wanted to be at home. I worked. I went to train. I was getting in at like 9 at night, repacking my bag, not bathing Charlie and my firstborn kid, and I kind of it just made me think a lot up there about what am I doing. Do I need to be playing anymore? Do I need to concentrate on my quals? So I was business manager for a transport company, and it came about by just a friend. Friend's dad had a haulage company, so he just said, "Look, I'll make a job for you. So at least I know I was getting a bit of income off Dewsbury, a bit of income doing that." Mate, I remember, right, Woody? I remember driving to work. That first day, I was shaking, and everyone thinks I'm a confident guy, right? And I am. If I know stuff, if I know the product and I know what I'm doing. But I'd gone from like being in the gym, been on the field, going for coffee with the guys, having the banter, to in an office, sat in an office, ringing people for talking about stuff I didn't even know. So I had to do all my research. I remember my first phone call. I had to write everything down, and I was like, it's Wayne Godwin from, and I rung my wife crying down phone saying, I can't do this, and I was shocked to pieces. I'm not embarrassed to say it, I was just shocked. I wasn't suffering with mental health, or I was just in shock that I'd gone from that playing professional rugby, playing in front of that big crowd and losing that identity, to like being in an office. I didn't enjoy the office work, would I? I've got too much energy. I'm like a caged animal. I'm like, let me out. So we're like, but do you know what? Any advice to anyone coming out of professional rugby? Try different jobs. Don't think that job is you for the rest of your life. If you do, you'll think bad thoughts. Just use it. I used it then when I got my head around it. I used it as work experience, would it? So I'm picking the phone up again, emailing, getting used to English, because my wife helped me with computer and my emails. I'm not embarrassed to say, because all my English and all my skills, what I'd learned, I didn't need in rugby. I was that Wayne Godwin, just playing rugby every Friday, Sunday afternoon, so I didn't need them skills. So we're like relearning them skills, telephone voice and different stuff. And so that was my first job. And then when the opportunity came alive, with Ryan Hudson, I used to go down, keep involved with Ryan Hudson and Danny Orr when they had the Elite Rugby Academy. But when I started with Raz, we're only coaching 1,000 kids a week. And then pre-lockdown, we went up to 12,000 kids a week in primary schools, high schools, colleges. So Raz, because of a friend of a friend, and he loved, we had that bond on that field, and we always had that friendship, and we've always kept in touch out of rugby. And when he started that business, he thought, do you know what? I'd done my business development role at Transport, but he saw something in me, and I wanted to get into coaching a little bit, so he kind of run it alongside. So I look after my job. I look after primary school delivery, so I look after the different contracts. I do the schedule. I liaise with staff because I'm a big believer in building culture. I know how to speak to staff. I know someone needs a kick up the arse, buddy. I know someone who needs a cuddle. I know someone who needs to be laughed at. I know someone who I just know how to read people. Good people by people. I'm a big believer in that. Good people. So I'm head of recruitment as well. So I do interviews, different stuff. I just know what I'm looking for. So I'm busy with Raz and Elite and the stuff. And I suppose Rugby M, and that was probably a hobby because it kept me involved in rugby. Because Elite wasn't really rugby, even though we're going into college and going into primary schools. It's not just rugby. It's netball. I deliver cricket sessions, football, loads of different sports. Obviously, I know a lot of people in Castle. When I'm involved in these primary schools, we do projects in the community now. We've got a community arm to the business where we put camps on for kids, which I love. I love putting camps on for kids where kids in certain areas like Airedale, an area in Castleford, we run free camps for kids. We feed them. There's a camp in Nottingham we run. So they come to the camp totally free. We feed them because we're getting the funding. So I really enjoy the community stuff as well. So I'm always trying to get the kids into not just rugby but into sport and give them a purpose and give them a lift, because academically I was woeful at school academically. English, maths, I struggled. I had to have a one-on-one, and I still worked hard. And don't get me wrong, if you're listening, kids and mums and dads, yeah, it's important. I drum it home to our child who's at primary school. But I got my buzz and my confidence because I was the best at PE. So without PE and physical education, which I'm pushing in schools all the time, for me, physical education is the most important subject as well as your English, maths. It's got to come into play somewhere. And that's what I'm always trying to drive, as well as the grassroots rugby. Obviously, my passion is rugby, but I love the community arm to it as well, Woody. So back to that, Woody. I've gone off on one again, but going back to that, it's not easy. It's not easy when you come from being a professional rugby player for God knows how many years, and then boom, wow, it's gone. Wow, and I'm luckily enough that I never suffered with mental health. And I think it's great what you're doing with it, with the project you've got going on. I think it's outstanding, and the team you've got, you'll smash it, Woody. And I wish you all the best. Just keep doing it because it's a big subject. I lost, obviously, Danny Sculford talks about it, but our good mates with Tez Newts. I lost me. Without sounding some, I lost me. Me dad's brother, my Uncle David. He committed suicide. He were in the RAF, my Uncle David. So he was similar as that. He'd always been in professional circles, and he'd always challenge himself. And we'll never know why he took his life, and I don't think anyone does. But like I say, we had no idea one bit. And I just wish he'd spoke to my dad or any of us, or he'd still be here today. But yeah. But I think it was coming out at RAF similar to rugby players. You've been in that military. You've been told what to do. Eat then, you train then, you do this, you do that. And you lose that purpose. So it's massive, innit? It's crazy. and yeah, I'd have never, I'd have never thought that like my Uncle David had done that. Yeah, for anyone out there, like just speak. Just that's what I love on the social media and the. Obviously, you're always going to get love hate on social, and it's like you always get love hate, and there's always going to be the trolls, and there's always going to be. You just ignore it because a lot of them haven't got pictures. I just try and be nice, and just put positive stuff on there, and I love trying to make people happy, Woody. I get a buzz off making people happy. Believe it or not, I get a buzz off. Yeah, bums. I love chatting, as you know. That's why podcasts are brilliant, because I love chatting all night. But yeah, I'm similar to you, Woody. Just big family man. Love all my friends. I'm lucky to do the job I love, which is inspiring the kids with elite and hopefully with rugby ending. I'm hoping I'll be able to keep involved in some shape or form in the media, because without that kind of Wagga Taurus end, I'm doing some stuff without. I just want to still get to games and still keep involved in the game, because without being involved in the game, I don't know, Woody, because I've never had that way. I've not been involved in games since I got on board with Jonesy and Simo. I've never thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
I'm sure like there'll be a club. If you don't carry on in the media side, mate, I'm sure there's a club, Cass or someone who'll take you, mate, and do like the hospitality side or something to drag the people in. Asking
you, Woody, how do you find the hospitality side? Because you must buzz off it, because you'll get the Q&A. I love Q&A and just getting the stories out of past players and the current players. And I think it's easier when you play a game, for me, Woody. Like, I'm not just blowing smoke up his own trumpet again, but when you play a game and you're chatting to a player, you've got that common respect that you've both played, and you've played at that club, and you've represented that jersey. So straight away you got that respect. And I think, me personally, players open up to that.
Yeah.
Saying other presenters are awesome. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking any presenter, anyone who. Yeah, I just think sometimes when players are doing the Q&A, I just think the next level, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's good, mate. And like you say, it keeps you involved in the game. And obviously I played at Warrington for 15 years, so I've got, I'm a Wigan lad, but I'm a Warrington fan now. I've spent pretty much half my life there, and my lads are Warrington fans, so we go to the games. And because I was going to the games, that's how it come about, that they asked me to, well, you may as well help us out and do some hospitality, and your lad comes to the game. And I was like, yeah, it sounds good.
How does that make you feel, though, Woody? How does that make Paul Wood feel? Because when I go to games and people are coming up for pictures, different stuff, Wagga, boom, kids coming up, different stuff. You know what? We're out sounding like big-headed, because I'm not, like, it gives me a buzz. I come up to the game, I thought, do you know what? Just to feel that sensation a bit like being liked a little bit and still in the rugby, it gives you a buzz, doesn't it? I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, mate, it does, because I think what it is, Wagga, that you basically dedicate your life to rugby league. When it's over, it's nice to be appreciated. And do you know what? I get to the stadium, and what I do is I walk out of the players' tunnel and I walk to the room where I do the hospitality. And there's already fans in the ground, and some will shout me and say, "Hey, Woody, how you doing?" And someone asks for a picture, and I'll joke with my lad and say, "Your dad still got it," what I mean?
But I'm like that with our Charlie. I said, "Come on, son, I've still got it here." And yeah, it's. I love getting to games, but I suppose the clubs I've played at. The 5 Super League clubs I've played at, I like to think I'd be welcome back anytime to go there. And I try to get to them games, but obviously because I'm from Cass, I get down to Cass a lot. But it's nice to see the fans, and I love having this. I'm a bit of a weirdo like that. I love the fan interaction, mate. I love the fan interaction, because there's that many different fans and characters. Like you get the old generation of supporting them from God knows how many years, then you get the kids, then you get You get the ones who get on side. They'll never change. They'll stand in the same place. They'll sit in the same place. They'll be saying, get on side, get him off, and all that. They'll still be doing the same stuff. But do you know what? If they're happy, they're still paying for the season ticket. There's a place for everyone, and that's what I love about rugby league. If you want to play rugby league, Woody, we'll find you a way. Right? There's wheelchair rugby league, there's women's rugby league, there's PDRL, there's the learning disability, and that's what I'm proud of as well. That inclusivity, that diversity that we have got in our game. That if you want to play rugby and you're listening to this or you watch it, you want to play rugby, let's make a way for you to play rugby, because we'll do it. We'll get you involved, whatever it is, whether you've got a disability, whether you like I say a lot in schools. Obviously, I coach different year groups, and the boys always think they're better than the girls. I said, look, no boys. I says, women's, because I coach in high school. I says, look how big women's rugby league. I says, could be some real talent. I'm seeing some athletes now, because I love trying to signpost kids into clubs as well. That's a big passion, because obviously in primary schools, but outside of school, you don't know. So I try and help kids get into, because I see something in them when I'm coaching. I think, whoa, what an athlete! Like year 4 or 5, and you think, wow, that's wasted. You should join this club. You should join. So that's what I'm trying to get better at and bigger at, the exit strategy stuff as well. Trying to signpost the kids into different sporting backgrounds. But
no, it's great, mate, that you do that. You know what I mean? Because, like, for me, like, rugby league give me that outlet that, you know, I achieved far more than I expected to. Do you know what I mean? And that's only through rugby league. I you know, as I said at the beginning, if I wouldn't have made it in the first team and I wouldn't have had the career that I had, I generally don't know what I would have done. You know, so
I still don't.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I still don't know what I want, mate. And that's what I'm going to say to you.
When you look back, Woody, sorry for butting, when you look back, you just think, I don't know how you feel, because when I bump into lads I've played with, it feels surreal, really. I watch it, I think, did I ever do that? Were I ever that fit? Did I ever bend someone in two? Did I ever make a little break, even though mine were always five yard dive overs? But you watch it now, and I watch it, I think, how did I do that week in, week out for that many years? And I know. It's surreal now, because I forget that much. You forget the players you played with, the players you forget against. It just seems, I don't know how you feel when you watch it. It feels surreal that we even ever did that as a job for me.
No, definitely, mate. I mean, I watch it and I do think, how did I do it every single week? But it is madness to think that we did it for such a long time, and, you know, we both played over 300 games, so it's, you know, I'm not surprised we sat here with 31 operations between us. But
not a bad start, that, Woody. Not a bad start, that, mate.
What's the biggest thing do you think you missed from the game? Because me personally, I think it's more the lifestyle. You know, you talked about being a caged animal, sat in an office or you know, in work, and I get that, because I'm as a rugby player, as much as you're, you know, a strict professional and you dedicate your life to it, you're sort of like a free spirit, and you in a way you're your own boss, because you're responsible for everything that you do. Your recovery, your sleep, your performance. If you need to improve on something, you're responsible. You've got a head coach, you've got assistant coach and staff around you, but ultimately you're your own boss. That's how I see it. And it's hard to come out of that environment, and all of a sudden you've got people telling you what to do. You've got, you know, you're working long days.
You go back to that, Woody, and that's where we'll it's like military, innit? Because you've got to take it upon yourself to do the ice baths, to do your rehab, prehab. You're your own boss as such, aren't you? Even though you're told to be at the gym for a certain time, but it's you who's got to look after yourself. It's you who's got to do the video review. It's you who's got to pick yourself up when you're not played well and you've had a sleepless night. And you just got to get back on the horse, and you go again next week, and you've got to bounce back from operations. And yeah, it's different. It's different to work life. It's totally different. But do you know what I like about work life, Woody? That Friday feeling, brother. That Friday feeling. I never ever thought I'd drink in house. I love a skinny lager on a Friday. Watching rugby, thinking, how good is this? I've no team running morning. I could just have as many as what I want. Get up with kids, but like I love a beer. Just watching rugby, just having a beer, and to feel that Friday feeling. And at Christmas as well, with no Boxing Day games, no rugby, and so there is positives to retirement.
100%. 100%.
Time you dedicate your life. I'm not saying anyone to thank you for me because I wanted to dedicate my life. I'm not saying anyone had to, but yeah, I was as dedicated as anyone. I love the beer. I love to come alive, Mad Monday. Going back to the biggest thing I miss, the boys, you characters like yourself, Woody, and players you play against, and just the team. Because every club I've played at, I've made some best mates for life. I know for a fact that's the rugby league family, like you see with Rob and Mossy, and anyone who needs your help. Do you know what? We're there for you. If you need us, Wagga, Paul Wood, we're all there for you because we're a family, and you're a family for life. Whether you're playing amateur, whether you're playing anyone who steps on that field for me, right? Take me off to you. You're tough. You're legends because anyone. It's toughest sport in the world, I believe. And yeah, I miss. Don't get me wrong. I miss playing in front of big crowds and getting them big wins and playing some good stuff and scoring tries and all that. But I miss the social side as well. I miss being part of a team all year. I miss that going for a coffee. I miss that camaraderie. Don't get me wrong, I go for coffees now when you're allowed without masks on and social distancing. Different, isn't it? But I miss being in that team environment. But I've learnt now that I can get that buzz with the Pontic Titans. So I coach my old team. So I coach up there with Raz, so we're head of rugby up there. And you know what? I get the same buzz. I get this buzz I get the buzz coaching the boys and passing my knowledge on to because it's college level, so it's not obviously academy, but I want to not just make them better rugby players. I want to give them a personality. I want to give them a better grounding. I've been there at college life, and I want to know how the family and life is, and how college is, how the subject is, because I believe I can breed that good culture, and I like that team stuff. I miss that team environment, Woody. That's what I miss more than anything.
And you know what? Like when I finished playing, I sort of tried to convince myself that I've had enough of rugby and I don't want anything to do with it. I just want to be a fan. But every time I said it, I got dragged back into it. So Simo rang me, do you want to get involved with Rugby AM? And all of a sudden I'm coaching rugby, and then I'm back playing for my old amateur club, and now I'm coaching Ashton Burrs, and it's like, why do we always get dragged back in? But I love the sport. I do love it.
You get a buzz like me, Woody, when you're coaching Ashton Bears. How good is it when you've had a good session and boys have done some good stuff and you've put some systems in place, you've changed a bit of structure and you get that win? I like just training with them. I'm one of them, mate. I'm an hands-on coach, mate. I like getting involved. I like getting involved, mate. And I suppose some people, everyone's a different style of coach. I'm not saying that's right, that's wrong, but I like getting involved, like Longy used to do when he coached me at Salford. I can't sit back, mate. I've got too much energy, and I like getting involved.
I'm not fit enough to join in now. So I bought a whistle, and it was funny really, because some of the coaches who were down there, Picky and Wayne and Steve Collier and that, they were laughing at me because nobody had a whistle. And I was like, what do you mean nobody has a whistle? So I went out and purposely bought this whistle, and there's only me as a coach. But that's because I love standing outside and just blowing my whistle and getting lads run to me. I'm not running around. You know what I mean?
Well, that's all we used to hearing that whistle for chuffing Broncos and turnarounds, wasn't it? You heard that whistle, ups and downs, Malcolm's. Like you say, you miss. I do watch it sometimes, and I miss being as fit as what I used to be and being that elite athlete, the best. Do you get me? I suppose a little bit misses that because I still wish I were as fit as what I used to be, as strong as what I used to be. But you train different, don't you? It's just totally different, and you've just got to let it go, I suppose, as such, and just like be comfortable that, do you know what? You've had a decent dig. You've made some friends for life. We've been lucky enough to play as long as what we did. And we've met some great friends, haven't we, Woody? And we've got some stories. And there's different sides to rugby players, isn't there? Like the players you see on the field, but off the field, everyone's different. Everyone's got different personalities. Everyone's got different goals. I know this might sound stupid here, but some of the deals of it years, you know what I mean? I could earn more money working really on some of the contracts. I'm not going back to money, but I just play for the love of the game because I loved it in that team sport and to do the job you love and to get paid the money you did. I'm not saying that it wasn't bad money because it was good money, but for me it was just the opportunity to play in front of big crowds and to call rugby league a job. That's what motivated more than ever. Just being part of a team and just getting that spot.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying, when there's sort of tragedy or things happening within rugby league with people, and we go back to Rob Burr and the situation he's in at the minute, and everyone's rallied round. And I was just going to mention, the fact that we went to his testimonial game, and and it was great because you get that feeling where you're in that room. There's loads of ex-rugby league players, and you're just chatting, and it's like a family, isn't it?
Yeah. I love getting invited back to like past players' events or getting down to a game and you see one at lads, and like you go back to Rob Burr's events, them Origin games and them rugby M1s we used to do, Yorkshire, Lancashire, and charity games. They're a right laugh, aren't they? They're absolutely right laugh. We're all taking mick out of each other. We're all having banter because everyone's played against everyone. Everyone's played with everyone. So it's like it's just class, and it makes you feel important again that you kind of been remembered a little bit that you played in that era, and there were like obviously there were Scully in there, there were Jointy, there were some old school. There were everyone or anyone, Mick Cass, Mickey Iron himself. There were players all over. Andy Gregg, everyone or anyone were at that event for Rob because that's what a special bloke he is, Rob. And he's an hero, he's an inspiration, and like Baz and Keith Senior and everything what's going on at the minute with Rob, but everyone's behind it, and everyone's behind every event anyone puts on for rugby because that's what I believe our sport is special at, Woody. It might fail in obviously merchandise and getting sponsors and getting some money injected in our sport, but one thing it won't fail on is that looking after each other and that family feel, and that's why I'd love my boys to play. Yeah, I'd love them just to experience it and play. Whether they play or not, I don't know. They're still a little bit young, but I mean, yours does, doesn't it, Woody?
Yeah, my 13-year-old lad does. Yeah, he plays at Chevy Sharks. And
how does that make you feel, Woody?
It's good. I mean, I always said I wouldn't be one of these parents when I said I wouldn't get involved, but I'm at that stage now where he's old enough now to know whether he's trying hard or he's just being lazy, and I'm just brutally honest with him when he comes off. I say, you were lazy today, you didn't run hard enough. If he has a good game, I'll give him a pat on back and that. But I love it, mate. I do, and I was, I was sort of, when I played rugby, I was like, I'm not bothered if my lad doesn't play, but I do actually love the fact that he's playing it and he's. and he's rugby mad. He's absolutely rugby mad. He'll smash TV if Wigan beat Warrington, and we live in banging centre of Wigan. You know what I mean? So
I love that. I love kids that watch the game because they want to. You learn by watching. I say to some of our guys, watch it because you learn a lot by watching it rather than just playing it. Playing it all the time is great, but just watch some of the big games like the Origin, what's been on today, and Munster and Harry Grant and some of these players playing Origin, State of Origin, Queensland, New South. Everyone loves it. There's some great games, and you can learn in whatever position you want to be the best at. Yeah. It does help. I say to a lot of our kids I coach, study the game. Study the game. If you study the game, will help you as well as playing it all the time. And you go back to that.
You look at when we were younger though, Wagga, as well, so how much of an influence rugby league players had upon us, and it was interesting really because the other day they showed Wigan playing Bath in the rugby league game, and it was great to watch because that's the Wigan team that I grew up watching, and I was pointing out Vainga Twigger-Marler and Andy Farrell, and I was saying these are the guys who I was watching. Look how hard he runs, and they had such a massive influence. Me watching them on how I played the game, so Mick Cassidy had a Malcolm Brown's head guard on, so I went and bought one. You know what I mean? He had torpedoes, so
I had one of them nose things because Henry Paul had one. What did they do?
But the thing is,
HP.
How much of an influence did those players have on you? And we forget that the players that our kids will be watching, they have a massive influence on us. So
that inspiration, and you go back to it. That's why they have got the role models. But believe it or not, when you sit on that field, you're playing professional. Whether you like it or not, you're an inspiration. You're a role model straight away. So whatever you do, your actions do speak. And I remember you go back to that one. As a kid, you used to just buy what your favourite player had. Like when they went through a stage of wearing their nose things and big pads and cyclers and right stuff back in the day, wasn't there?
And you know what? Going back to retirement and then watching a game. I remember watching a game at Warrington. I think it was Warrington and Leeds, and the fans were going absolutely mental. Like they was cheering for Warrington, they were backing them up, and they was going absolutely berserk. And my friend said to me, "When does it make you feel special that fans were doing that when you were playing?" And I was like, "You don't think of that. You think, no, you don't. Oh yeah, when I scored a try in front of these fans, they'd have been doing the same thing." But
you don't. Honestly, people say, right, I used to get het up a lot before a game. I used to get nervous a bit, but I used to be always want to be the energizer. Come on. I used to worry about other people more than myself. Because if someone was quiet, come on, what's up? Come on, you're not up for it. Because you need everyone in that team to pull together, to be on it, to get them wins and that performance. And I not worry about other players because they were better players than me, but I think sometimes I should have worried about myself a little bit more rather than trying to. I used to try and energise everyone, and then when I got on field myself, I went knackered, running. I'm all right having all these pre-workouts, and one year it was Jaffa cakes. I used to eat a ton of Jaffa cakes because I had a ton of Jaffa cakes, and I got Man at Match on Sky, old Tiso. And I thought I put it down to Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes. I thought, what am I doing? I'm a tub of Jaffa cakes. You'll get a Tiso every week, kids. It was a mental game. Some mental stuff. I was big into psychological stuff. Me would I always used to want to get stripped first. So soon, I was stripped probably 40-45 minutes before kickoff. Where some players I played with won't get changed while last minute. Yeah. Because I wanted to be up bed, get massage, get ready, get full kit on, and come on, let's go. Every player's different, and some players put the boots on, psychological, some put the left boot on first, some wear different stuff, some wear. It's different, isn't it?
Mate, the things that happen in them changing rooms and the behaviours and the sort of the attitudes and the patterns that every single week people do the same thing every week, and people they won't believe the stuff that happens in there, would they? You've got people being sick, you've got people constantly on toilet, you've got people messing around, like you said. Some people are just in the tracksuits 10 minutes before warm up, and it's just such a contrast.
Some people get nervous, and then there were players like running to the toilet to spew up. And there were players like just listening to music. I hated listening to music before games. I wasn't one of them, but some people loved it.
Yeah.
Some people love just chilling out. Some people are worried about thinking, come on, get ready up, man, come on. Yeah, are you ready for this game or what? But they'd always perform. But every player is different. So how you perform and you get ready for a game, it's up to the individual, isn't it? You can't all be like buzzed up and crazy. Everyone's different. I mean, I haven't personally played with anyone. You play with anyone who had a smoke before the game? Didn't think he like a smoke at Wigan.
Well, I tell you who loved a fag before a game. Benny Westwood.
Did he? Super Benny Westwood.
I think he liked more than one as well.
Well, old school. I do believe though, Woody, that me and you were similar age, so we played it like academy level against each other for years. But I do believe I played in both eras, me. What I mean by that, I believe I played in the old school era, a little bit of old school, and then when it went like pro. I'm not saying it was professional then. I'm not knocking any club I played at prior, but like Monday clubs, for instance. Every Monday I were in Wakey, buzz bar. Boom, boom, boom. Tuesday I was getting flogged on field. But do you know what? Up there, I had it. I didn't let anyone down.
Yeah.
I flogged all hell out. But if I didn't turn up to buzz bar with my team, they lads used to fall out with you.
Yeah, I know.
And like after games, like Sunday were compulsory. You had to go out on a Sunday. You play on a Sunday, you had to go straight out. And
well, I always say, me, Wagga, it's an industry that, you know, if you worked in a bank and your bank manager said to you, right, everybody, we're going to the pub after work, and if you don't come, you're going to get 200 quid to cut your wages. Yeah. That's what happens at rugby, but that never happens in a normal industry. Like it won't happen at a bank. No. It won't happen if you worked in an estate agent. So who'd fine you for not going to a team function after? But in rugby league, you'll get like 200 quid to cut your wages for not going on the piss. Yeah. It's absolutely bananas.
Mad, innit? You had leaders in that. I'm not mentioning names, different stuff. You had leaders like, right, you've got to come out. You're coming out, even if you didn't want to go out. Like, but I always wanted to go out, so I wasn't bothered. Come on, boy.
I will admit I didn't take much persuading myself.
I didn't. You had to back it up though, Woody. You had to back it up on field. I'm not saying, right, you went out, you got smashed, and you didn't train the day after. No one overstepped the line where a couple of times, but they're different stories. But no one, I wouldn't say it were like, what caused, it wasn't a drinking culture. It was just different. And like, we had like no protein, no supplements. It were like, right, let's get 200k on bench press. Even if you can't lift it, have a go. Bench. I remember bench squat, something else. And all you did, you just went in, rubbish technique, put as heavy as what you could on. No supplements, right? Just get some beans and toast in you. You believe it. Get some eggs in you. Go out field. No recovery. Mate, you're deep soft. If you got on a massage bed, mate, if I'd have got on a massage bed when I first started playing game, Woody, wow. Mate, I couldn't even get in first team changing room. It took me 2 or 3 years cleaning lads' boots to even get foot in that changing room at Cats. I had to earn the respect. I had to earn that right. So when you're talking about young kids coming through, chuffing hell. But then I'm not knocking it because the game needed it a little bit. Obviously, you can see the changing. It's all there to see. The body shape of a professional rugby player now to when I first started playing has changed because they're all athletes. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Back in the older days, they were all athletes. They were skillful. They were fit. totally different game. You can't compare the two, would it?
Yeah.
But you can tell by the shape of the models. Like you look at Sydney Roosters, like they're all like doing 100 metres and you look at a lot of teams that they're athletes out there. Whereas back then they were like, you know what I mean? They loved the beer, but it's not like they couldn't play at highest level. It was just different, and then it went all sports science a little bit, supplements, recovery. How many Ks have you done? Right, you need to pull away. It went positional then, didn't it? Went all positional, right? York middle unit, you only need to be this many Ks, get ready for this bit. Right, you backs, you're on this weights program. We all did same weights program when I first started. Why?
Yeah, I know.
I'm totally different to you positionally, and but then it went all,
individualized, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It went all, but I loved it because I'm still obsessed in it now, Woody. I'm still obsessed in trying to get the edge because I still love training. So I'm always trying to look for something where I can get the edge or get that recovery or, I love all like mad, like recovery supplements and, I still love training. Because I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I always wanted to keep in shape when I retired. I always wanted to be one of them who someone looks at and think, oh, chuffing hell, he looked after himself. I didn't, but some players aren't bothered because
you're going to be like Steve Ampo, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought, well, but that's what they call me, team manager, Johnny Jack, father and son. Ampo is lean as out, mate, and he likes his road biking, and I can't get anywhere near you and Dow's at a minute on road bike, but it's a good cycling club. Well, we can't do it at a minute, but there's like Timmy Spears, who plays at York. Ran out again. Big Keith Senior comes out. Gaz Carvel's got into it. He's looking really well at the minute, Gaz.
He said he's lost a bit of weight. I was speaking to him over there.
He's lost loads of weight, and he looks well for it as well, but that's just through him getting into his road biking.
Yeah.
Same with Dowsey, like he's got his walk bike and some sessions he does. I'm not into it as much as them. I just like getting out because it's more the social side.
Funnily enough, Wagga, right, I'm going to put this on my camera. See this picture? That's that picture of us there.
Wow, yeah.
And that Gaz said that's what inspired him to lose the weight. He said he looked at that picture and he said he was 118 kilo. So he said he's got into the bike and he's lost loads of weight. So
I'll tell you what, I went out with him. True story, Woody. I went out with him. This was a fair few months ago before it all came in. He came off bike. I thought he was dead, wouldn't he? He went skittling, honestly. Dowsey, top of this hill in Huddersfield. There were me, Keith Senior, Dowsey, Calves, and I think my brother. And he said, right, we're going down this hill, Calves, right? Don't mess about. I says, take it steady. And I've come off a couple of times. So I'm slower downhill. I'm slower downhill than what I am uphill. I'm a bit nerve-wracking up road bike downhill. And Gaz, honestly, I came down last and he's hit this house. He's come off his bike. We were doing like nearly 40, 50 mile an hour. Biggest shot I've ever seen anyone put on Gaz Carvel. Biggest shot ever. He had all graze in his arms and he's still as daft as ever. I go out with him, he's trying to pull me off bike and that. I said, I'm on a guy to come off a road bike. I came off, I went straight over. I went out with my brother, Woody, and I didn't see this bend and I slammed on and my back wheel slid out. I went straight over handed and I smashed into this thing. And I had helmet on. Luckily, that helmet, it was dinted a little bit. I took helmet off and I was still split. Still getting helmet. Leather face, skin back. So, yeah, I think it's important for ex-professionals to keep together in training groups, mate, because I think training helps me mentally. So I train every day because I love it, and it just keeps me sane, mate. And when I've got a lot of energy, so to keep fit, and I do home workouts. To get out on road when I can. Try and do not as much road running though. My knees take some pounding now, Woody. I don't know how your knees are, but my knees have never been good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a gym. I get in gym now, and that's all I do. I'm not really a fitness guy, but I'm like you. You know, I need
Makes
to
you
keep
feel
training.
good.
Oh,
Makes you feel good.
it does, mate. And I've just been before I come on here, and you know, like just just doing like some circuits and stuff, and it just keeps you like sane. Do you know what I mean? So just done a bit of training, with kettlebell and that, and a bit of circuits, and you know, it's just nice to just keep active, really, because I think, you know, if you've done it all your life and all of a sudden you stop. I have done that. I've not trained.
Yeah.
And felt a bit shit, you know what I mean? And it's like,
it helps you. It's not just that physical look as well, but I do it for even though I don't, I do it for my mental side as well, because it keeps me sane. It just makes me happy training. I like training. It don't have to be long. I like the road bike because it's like social side. But I won't just go out to the field now and do some Broncos and flog myself like I used to. I don't miss getting flogged. I don't miss rower. I haven't been on a rower. I always worst at rower. I've not been on a rower since I retired.
Yeah, well, I've been through it all. I've done the running, the rowing, I've tried swimming, I've done everything, but I've just come to a conclusion. I'm happy just sitting on a bench and just, you know, lifting a few weights and getting as strong as I can.
I miss it gym at the minute. I miss my weights, but luckily, when my wife changed, we managed to bring a few dumbbell balls back. So we've just been doing home workouts, just because you've got to do it, haven't you? You've got to get out and get on road bike and do a few home workouts and keep busy. And it gives me energy in mornings, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely. Wagga, it's been a pleasure, mate. It's been great chatting and done over an hour and a half though. So it flies, mate. It flies. Yeah. It's good. No, it's been good, mate. It's been good. And
do you know what? It's given me a buzz chatting to you. And when you talk about like the game and yourself and your stories and your angle, it gives you a buzz, doesn't it? It gives you a buzz again. Like I say, hopefully I can keep involved in the game somehow. And I'll keep up the great work with the podcast, Woody. I think it's class. You've had some great guests on, and it's good because they're getting big out there. Like I say, YouTube and the podcast stuff, and I think it's great, mate. So keep up the good work, Woody.
Yeah, no, and likewise, mate. You know, as I said at the beginning, you know, the influence and the positivity that you give in the game and the kids who, you know, you've said it yourself, you know, grassroots is so important for us. You know, if we want to see the game grow, we need to target the kids, get them into the games, and you know, it's just, you just have a really positive influence, and like you say, it's that positivity, and we need a lot of that, especially with the circumstances that we're in now. With, you know, we're in a second lockdown, there's a pandemic and everything, so you know, everything you're doing is just positive, mate. And like, you know, and like you said at the beginning, you know, don't change for anyone, because for me, you're doing a really good job. You know, that impact that you have on kids and making people feel better, it's priceless. There's not enough of that for me.
Oh, cheers, Woody. Not everyone can like you, see. Never change, because everyone's different characters. I might be too form for certain people, or some people are a bit reserved for me. It doesn't mean that you can't get on and have a common goal in rugby. Everyone's different, aren't they? Everyone's got different personalities.
100%, mate. That's the thing, you know what I mean? It's so many different personalities, and you know, like you say, some people like, you know, the enthusiasm. Some people like it when other people are a little bit more reserved, and we're all different. We're all different animals. We all respond to different situations in different ways, and our approach, and you know. But like I said, what you're doing with the kids, mate, just keep doing it, because it's having a massive impact, and the social media thing's awesome. So keep it going.
Mate, I love it. I'm getting addicted to going to the field and doing trick shots now, mate. People keep sending me one though, but I can't do yet. But kick it off floor. But resilience, that determination. I won't give up on this challenge, would it?
Yeah, and as well, you know, it's teaching kids new skills as well with the ball, which they probably wouldn't have done before. You know what I mean? Yeah, so exactly.
Have a
You
go
know.
at it.
That's it. So, cheers, Wagga. It's been a pleasure, mate.
No worries, legend. Cheers, Woody lad.
All right, mate. We'll speak
Yeah,
soon.
See you,
Cheers,
mate.
pal. Ciao,
Yeah.
mate.